Welcome to the Mycitizenagency channel. Today we will talk about how citizenship of one of the European Union countries can significantly facilitate relocation to such popular destinations as the USA, Canada, or Australia. Many people think that EU citizenship is only important for living in Europe. But in fact, EU citizenship opens up a wider range of opportunities. It strengthens your professional position, simplifies the process of obtaining work and study visas, and helps you pass verification procedures more quickly. Let's take a look at why this is the case and how EU citizenship can become your strategic advantage. When you apply for a visa to the US, Canada, or Australia, consulates consider more than just the purpose of your trip. A whole range of factors are important: your level of education, professional experience, employment history, English language skills, financial solvency, as well as your country of citizenship and the overall migration picture of your profile. It is important for immigration authorities to assess how well the applicant is integrated into a stable economic, social, and legal system. Citizens of European Union countries fall into the category of applicants with low migration risk. This is based on statistics. Such applicants are significantly less likely to stay illegally, violate visa conditions, or have problems confirming their income or employment. What this means in practice: fewer additional requests for documents and sources of income. A higher probability that your application will be considered bona fide from the outset. Many checks are carried out in a shorter time frame without lengthy clarifications. You do not need to prove your ties to your country of residence in excessive detail, for example, showing real estate, family ties, or obligations. In many cases, a simpler set of documents is allowed for submission, especially for work and study visa applications. To put it simply, an EU passport builds trust. It confirms that the person lives in a stable jurisdiction with transparent tax legislation, a high level of banking control, and a predictable system for regulating migration processes. Such applicants are perceived as independent, financially organized, and focused on legal means of relocation. Therefore, the decisions of migration authorities become more predictable and faster. This does not eliminate the requirements or cancel the procedure, but it removes many potential obstacles and doubts along the way. If you are considering the US, there are several types of visas and programs that are most in demand: H-1B, O-1, and L-1 work visas, business or startup immigration, relocation through training and subsequent job offer, investment programs. For citizens of European Union countries, two key points are simplified: proof of professional or business status, for example, international experience, highly skilled work, investment activity, the ability to enter and stay in the US under the Visa Waiver Program, VWP, with ESTA authorization for short visits for business, negotiations, participation in exhibitions, meetings, interviews. According to official data, citizens of 42 VWP member countries, including most EU countries, can visit the US for up to 90 days without a regular visa. This means that you can legally come to the US for a short period, up to 90 days, to meet with potential employers, participate in business negotiations, visit universities or specialized events before applying for a full immigration or work visa. Many of our clients start this way. First, they travel to the US as EU citizens under the VWP or ESTA, familiarize themselves with the job market, make contacts, participate in events, and then, with a stronger profile, apply for a visa. This path is much easier if you have a passport from one of the EU member states, for example, Austria, France, Germany, Slovenia, Spain, etc. This opportunity gives you a significant advantage: a more relaxed and planned start to negotiations and job search without the immediate burden of full immigration. Less risk of refusal or long waits for initial trips. The opportunity to build a step-by-step relocation strategy, confirming your intentions and profile before submitting a serious application. Important to note, staying on the VWP/ESTA does not replace an immigration visa or a long-term work visa. If you are planning a long stay, working with a U.S. employer, residing, or immigrating, you will need to obtain the appropriate visa and submit an application to the consulate. But by starting this way, you significantly strengthen your profile and reduce uncertainty. Canada is known for its well-thought-out and structured immigration points system. It evaluates not only education and work experience, but also age, language skills, employment prospects, and the candidate's overall professional potential. For people with EU citizenship, this system offers additional, very tangible advantages. First, European diplomas and qualifications are much easier to recognize. Many EU universities and professional programs are already included in lists that meet Canadian standards. This means that you do not have to go through the lengthy and costly validation procedures required of candidates from other regions. Second, work experience gained in EU countries is considered substantial and formally verifiable. Canadian employers and immigration authorities trust European systems for verifying work experience, tax history, and professional certifications. This significantly increases your final score. Thirdly, many professions that are common in the EU labor market are already included in the Canadian lists of in-demand professions. This applies in particular to medicine and related fields, engineering professions, IT and digital technologies, tourism and hospitality, technical specialists in manufacturing. Thanks to this, when you submit your application, you initially fall into the categories that Canada is actively seeking to attract. In addition, a number of provincial programs, PNP, consider candidates with European experience more quickly, as Europe is perceived as a source of specialists who are adapted to high standards of work quality and professional ethics. Language skills are also worth mentioning. EU citizens are much more likely to have a good knowledge of English or German, which automatically increases your score in the express entry system. In some cases, confirming your language level is enough to pass the threshold for a permanent residence invitation. Most importantly, a European passport makes it easier to obtain a temporary work visa or temporary resident status in provinces that are interested in professionals with an international profile. This allows you to enter and start working legally even before obtaining permanent status, which significantly speeds up the adaptation process. To summarize, EU citizenship provides a much more confident, understandable, and predictable path to Canada, both in terms of obtaining status and in terms of further employment and integration. Australia is a country that pays particular attention to the qualifications, work experience, and actual professional level of applicants. Transparency of education, officially confirmed work experience, and the ability to quickly integrate into the work and social environment are of great importance here. That is why European education and experience are considered a significant advantage. For EU citizens, this means the assessment of diplomas is faster and more predictable. Many universities in the EU operate according to international standards, for example, the Bologna system, which facilitates the process of comparing diplomas with Australian qualification levels. Professional associations and regulators in Australia are more willing to recognize European certificates and licenses. This is relevant for doctors, nurses, engineers, teachers, architects, IT specialists, and many other fields. The likelihood of passing the immigration selection process is higher, especially if your profession is already on Australia's skilled occupation list. For such candidates, there is a simplified system for applying for independent immigration or immigration through state and territory programs. In addition, EU citizens are more likely to have experience living, working, or studying in several countries. This is a big plus because it demonstrates the ability to adapt. It confirms proficiency in English or the ability to improve it quickly. It shows financial and domestic stability, and this directly influences the decision of the immigration authorities. Australia seeks to attract professionals who can quickly enter the labor market and will not experience difficulties with integration. Thus, European Union citizenship makes your profile more reliable and understandable to the Australian immigration system, removing some of the possible doubts on the part of the examiners and reducing the time required to complete certain procedures. People often view EU citizenship as an interim, strategic step on the way to moving to the US, Canada, or Australia. This is no coincidence, but a well-thought-out logic based on the experience of thousands of successful relocations. Why it works: the right to live and work in any EU country. You can choose the country where it is easier for you to start. Some prefer the more peaceful and measured life in Portugal. Others prefer the more dynamic, professional environment of Germany or the Netherlands. Accumulation of European work experience and tax history. This is an important point. When you later apply for a visa to the US, Canada, or Australia, having a transparent work history, official tax payments, and stable work experience significantly increases the credibility of your profile. Improvement of language skills and adaptation. Living in Europe, you will naturally develop your English and sometimes a second foreign language. This helps not only in the immigration process, but also in your future career. Building a strong professional profile. European experience is seen as an indicator of discipline, professionalism, and the ability to live in a structured, legal environment. This is something that immigration services always pay attention to. To explain it even more simply, first you become a strong candidate, confident, prepared, and understandable to the immigration authorities, and only then do you apply for visas, where competition is really high and where profiles with proven international experience win out. This approach allows you to move strategically rather than chaotically, step by step, strengthening your position and minimizing the risk of rejection. Our company works with clients who want to build an international future step by step. We accompany the entire process, from the idea to the actual move to the EU, paying attention to every detail of your case. What you get in practice: analysis of your situation. We assess your goals, deadlines, education, experience, language level, and financial capabilities. We give you an honest picture of your prospects. Selection of the optimal path to EU citizenship. We compare several countries and routes, explain the pros and cons, and form a clear plan with a timeline. Preparation of documents. We compile a list, check for accuracy, prepare translations and notarizations. Support at every stage: application forms, deadline monitoring, preparation for interviews and visits to institutions, involvement of specialists if necessary. How we work: personal manager. One contact person accompanies you and keeps you informed of progress. Transparent plan. We outline the stages and expected results. Quality control. Internal double audit of key documents before submission. Confidentiality. Careful handling of data and storage of materials according to secure protocols. Preparation for real life. Recommendations on housing, initial expenses, language school, adaptation, and entering the job market. We do not promise miracles or instant results. This contradicts common sense and legal requirements. However, we guarantee professional support, careful preparation of your application package, transparent steps, realistic deadlines, and an individual approach to your situation. Our goal is for you to move forward with confidence, understand each next step, and see your strategy turn into concrete results. In short, citizenship of one of the EU countries is not just a travel convenience, but a strategic resource that broadens your horizons and makes the path to the US, Canada, or Australia more understandable and manageable. A European passport increases trust in your profile, speeds up checks, helps you confirm your education and work experience more easily, and, most importantly, allows you to plan your move step by step and without unnecessary uncertainty. The right strategy always starts with analysis: where you are now, what you want to achieve, and what steps will be most rational for you. For some, a quick start through education will work. For others, a work visa, and for others, a gradual strengthening of their profile through experience in one of the EU countries. The Mycitizenagency team accompanies you at every stage, from choosing an immigration program to preparing a package of documents and entering your destination country. We work transparently, carefully, and professionally so that each of your steps is informed and brings tangible results. If you want to go down this path with professional support, leave a request for a free consultation at the link in the description. We will study your situation, draw up your personal immigration plan, and prepare a complete set of documents for successfully obtaining citizenship in one of the EU countries. We work individually, taking into account your goals, your lifestyle, and your situation. Thank you for watching this video. If you are interested in this topic, subscribe to our channel and feel free to ask questions in the comments. We regularly publish program reviews, answer frequently asked questions, and share important news about immigration law and life in the EU. Your journey to Europe begins with the first step. Mycitizenagency is there for you every step of the way.